So Wisconsin has some of the highest radon levels in the entire nation. Specifically, it's because of the soil content that we have in Wisconsin that is high in uranium. That's a natural occurring element in our soil. However, over time, when uranium decays, it off-gases into a form called radon, which gets up through cracks and crevices, sump cracks into our basement, where it's allowed to build up to a high concentration level. It attaches to tiny little dust particles in the air, which we breathe into our lungs, where they're then deposited, where they release alpha rays of radiation that damages cells, lung tissue, and our DNA, creating the risk for lung cancer. Radon is the number one leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers, and unfortunately, we're out here trying to raise awareness because it's something that people don't have an education about. It's not being talked about, and we're at a record low for radon testing because of how the real estate market has been over the last few years.
You bring up a really interesting point. We had David Nason in yesterday talking about how home inspections just aren't as common today as they probably should be because it's such a competitive market. People want to get in, so cash offers, no contingencies, right? You want that quick sale. You just get it and move on. But it's also leading to some issues, and it could be a number of things. But radon is one of those things, right? Any home inspector is going to come through, see if there's a mitigation system, ask that a test be done. You're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on something. I would think you'd want that peace of mind.
Absolutely, and the risk is so great. I just encourage people not to forget about it. I understand that it's a very competitive market, and you want the winning offer, and you want to get into the house, but then test afterwards. After you close, if you don't want to mess up the transaction, call someone to still test, and at least you can have the peace of mind knowing that you are low in radon, or if you test high for radon, then you can make an informed decision and do something about it. It's not worth the health impact. That can end up being very, very expensive to treat. We come across customers that the first time that they're having a conversation with us and learning about radon and the dangers is after they've received life-changing news. And by then it's too late. This is an issue specific to Wisconsin, especially southeastern Wisconsin, where we have some of the highest levels of radon. It accounts for up to 14% of lung cancer cases across the nation, and it's a problem that we need more attention around.
So my wife and I bought a different house about 4 years ago, and we had an inspection, and they did the radon test. Did we have some? Yes, but we were in that threshold where you didn't have to get the mitigation system. Since then, we've done a lot of renovations to this older house, newer windows, better insulation. So you're not talking about sealing up.
Exactly.
Would you get a test again?
Yep. So the EPA recommends retesting every 2 years.
Okay.
For sure, test if you've never tested before. That's going to be the first step. They encourage either continually monitoring. They make those really affordable these days. Or every 2 years at least, or if there's any changing conditions like insulation, like windows, that allow that concentration to build up. Disturbing the soil around your home. If you're doing foundation work or if there's a subdivision going up next to your house, that can disturb the soil and stir up some of that radon gas and allow more of it to come into your home.
So it's always changing. It's not like you get a test and say, oh, we're clear, and for the next 25 years it
exactly.
changes.
It can often change.
So then why don't they just put these mitigation systems, especially here in southeastern Wisconsin, make that customary part of building a house or in any home?
Yep. So that's a good question. And some neighboring states like Illinois and Minnesota have adopted these types of construction techniques. The International Building Code is what we're talking about. They have construction techniques that call for passive or active mitigation systems, types of foundation. They don't allow open block, for example, because that's just a big chimney spewing radon into your house. Sealing the sump cracks, as simple as that, can reduce the amount of radon intrusion into your home.
Jeremy Clausing's from Lifetime Radon Solutions. What I appreciate about your company, too, Jeremy, is that you'll do a free test. I know there are kits and things you can buy at different home stores and whatnot, but I know the level of effectiveness with a test from Lifetime Radon is going to be much more secured. You're going to have much more peace of mind, and it's a free test, right? It's worth it just to see.
Absolutely. People are not many things these days are free. This is one of those that is truly free, no strings attached, no obligation. The most that you're sacrificing is a few minutes of your time that we hope is going to be educational. We'll come out to your house. set a digital test, which are calibrated every 6 months. They're some of the most accurate tests for radon that you can do. And we have a professional staff that is very educated in radon, can answer questions specific to your house, specific to you and your family, and correctly interpret those test results. After you get the test results and you're educated about radon, what you do then is up to you. And we hope to give you good news and tell you that you don't have high concentration
Well,
levels.
I appreciate the work you did in our house. I mean, it took a couple of hours. It was very simple. It's unobtrusive. It's tucked away in a safe spot. Like, we can still play downstairs. We've got peace of mind now to play downstairs or run on the treadmill or do whatever we do. But I appreciate the installation team, and it is that peace of mind because it like you said, it's sort of a silent killer, and you don't smell it, you don't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it's kind of like having a carbon monoxide detector in your house, where you're just going to have it. I don't know how far away we are from that, but hospitals, daycares, like, this is really important stuff.
Yeah, and for the first time ever, so we're moving in that direction with awareness and regulation because this is such a dangerous health risk for Wisconsin residents. Daycares, for the first time in March, the Department of Health Services has first required daycares to test and mitigate in Wisconsin. So that's a big move in the direction, in particular because children are some of the most at risk in our population because they are smaller. Their radon exposure, according to their smaller body mass, is much greater. And secondly, they're so young, these radon particles get deposited in your lungs. They never stop emitting that alpha radiation to you. So if you have exposure while you're young and you have a long life ahead of you, that's going to increase your chances for lung cancer down the line.
I had a question come in on the text line real quick, Jeremy. Somebody wondering if they live in an apartment building, what can you do? Should you still have a test? Some condo developments, perhaps. You may not know if there's a mitigation system or not. Is it worth testing?
Yeah, definitely. And we do commercial work as well, where we actually put in systems in the new construction phase and building of these apartment buildings. But it's important to remember the context of where you're living. If you're in an apartment building or a condo, you might be above ground or multiple floors above ground. It's important to remember that radon is a heavy gas and it's going to sit lower in the home. So basements are some of the most at risk. So I don't know of any apartment or condo that's going to be in a basement, but it's still worthwhile testing for sure.
Jeremy Clausing, Lifetime Radon Solutions, thank you so much for the work you do. I really appreciate it. It's been a great partnership with you as well. Visit lifetimeradon.com. Free test, no obligations. They'll help you out from A to Z. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.